everyone, Senrai here. Today I'm going to be watching the 11th episode of Mawaru Penguindrum, and last episode was pretty exciting, I would say. It took place in a hospital, but you kind of associate a hospital with a place to rest, to recuperate, but it becomes a little bit harder to do that when you get kidnapped and, like, threatened with stuff and, like, up in your face and having all that broadcast to your friends and family, and essentially, yeah, you're being used as is blackmail the right word? Just basically used to try to get something else right. After you already got hit by a car and you're just trying to relax, it was not a good episode for him. It wasn't a good episode for Kamba either, because he had like all that stuff kind of like from the past shoved into his face, the cake, the sweater he was forced to wear, and it wasn't a good episode for Ringo either, because she lost her diary, she was just had a drop and somebody grabbed it. Not quite sure who. Like, you couldn't get a good look at her, but it looked like the hairstyle was different than what we saw in Natsume. But I'm not going to say that definitively, but it seemed like it could have been someone else. And speaking of someone else, we got someone new in like the train. Mario, I guess her name was, and she had a penguin hat too. The plot continues to move, and it continues to confuse me. That's kind of the show in a nutshell, really. But the very first shot we have of this episode looks like we're outside of Natsume's home. Like, I see the Natsume plate right there, right? So maybe we'll learn more about her this episode. Like, there's still a lot we don't really know. She keeps talking about like wanting to crush someone. I think that's like the bulk of characterization we've gotten from her, and we got a kiss from her to Kanba last episode. That was a thing. So yeah, if we can learn a little bit more about her, that'd be nice, So let's jump into the episode and see if that is indeed what we get. So 3, 2, 1. But that intro probably wasn't the most coherent intro I've ever done, but let's go. So good security. The first line, the very first line. But okay, talking's good. What is that outfit? Like a shogun kind of, I don't know. In a really nice house. But at least our penguin is prepared for the worst. Which makes sense, if it is the same penguin that got kissed, last episode, which I assume it is. Wants to be on guard this time. Because if that's the joke, that's quite funny. And that awful sweater. And yeah, I could feel the opening being about to play. So yeah, I guess we're just confronting her here. I'm definitely interested to see how that goes. Just gonna drink some water in the meantime. Yeah. And there we go. Okay. And yeah, naturally she has a piano. You call that a game? Yeah. No. I think we're losing your armor there. That is quite the art, I must say. back, you evil penguin. We're getting touchy. 2.5 out of 10. I mean, he's not wrong. Oh, those are like TV panels. I thought those were windows at first. I think that's just a fancy way to say stalker. The elephant sounds are just. Oh no, there goes your defense. They said the word again. I don't think she will. I would not take a beverage she gave me. What are those balls? Yeah, that was definitely memorable. Put my phone over there. Well, the, the defenses did not work out. Yeah, I'm also curious about that. Okay. Nobody wants to be that first penguin. Penguin had a halo. Must have been the first penguin. Yeah, it's kind of important. Well, you lose this round, I'm afraid. Oh, there's Mario. Can you talk about who this person is? Save Mario. Why does that feel backwards? Curse from 16 years ago. What are you talking about? He's a pretty small penguin. You can just carry him on your shoulder. Okay. That is interesting, because I assume she had both halves. Okay, then who has the other half? Because one half was taken by a motorcyclist, the other half was dropped and picked up. What are you doing? That's how you warm up your food? I know, right? Oh, jeez. No hesitation. At least you're aware. Yeah, she cares about you. Jeez. Are you okay? She was pretty brutal. Okay, so not giving up. That's your opinion. Can you define romantic for me? At least someone said it. Could you stop? I don't think she is willing to accept what he's trying to tell her, but I don't think we expected her to. Not at this stage, at least. Okay, we're doing more of this. Please don't break out the frog. I just told you not to! I knew I should have dropped the show and had a chance. There's that number again. How much do you have to hate someone to do that to them? Definitely not true. Oh, slime. Okay, so maybe you're not completely out of your mind to just casually do that without hesitation. Uh, well, I mean, at least she's doing it to herself and not someone else. That is quite sparkly. I wouldn't drink that. Uh, when a crazy star girl tells you use the word special in regards to a beverage or food she gives you, don't take it. Are you okay? You want me to call you an ambulance? Okay, definitely was not a good beverage. See what you did? Uh, where is this going? Oh, really? I you mean it worked? Really? I I or it could just be her delusion. I don't know. I wonder why. If you say so. Good old Hachiko statue. The space station. Or satellite, whatever it is. Big metal thing in space. Is that an arrow? Looked a lot bigger. Do you have to? It's an amazing view, though. Even getting Princess carried. So, or not, or don't, you know. So do they actually do it? Can't just cut me off like that. Freaking forehead. Why would you say that? It's oddly specific. Are you okay, buddy? What a thing to spend animation budget on. Can't disobey that. Okay, we are catching back up. Because it's wrong in at least a few different ways. That kill the atmosphere. So is he just like turning into a frog? I mean, I guess we should be glad that didn't happen during the act itself, because that would definitely ruin the mood. Really don't want to lose that phone, I'm assuming. I'll need to call for help. Oh, I was about to say, is he about to bust the wall or the door? Jesus Christ. Okay, how do you explain any of this to Yuri, I wonder? Yuri, you don't want to go in there. uh... It's quite a way to phrase that. Really? I mean, they did have that kiss together, sort of. And he took a car in the face for you. You gave up your diary for him, so pretty telling stuff. Yeah, we're talking about your actual feelings, not the feelings that you were trying to have. Don't make it too fabulous. One night only. Gotcha. I like how it literally highlights that part because it's kind of important. I brought you food. Do you want food? Stuffed curry cabbage. Because he tries to be nice. I don't think it's all his fault. I think that's an unfair thing to say. I mean, you try to convince yourself more than anything, but well, because you had the diary is the simple answer. Didn't know penguins could be used as microwaves. That is a good question. Okay, I guess we're doing this. It's been far too long, honestly. They basically had a second round of the Rashoma abuse there. Oh, that's something. That incident. Do we know what incident she's referring to? So much violence in this episode, Jesus. I mean, how do you respond to that? Huh. I'm starting to get chills. What are we getting at here? But why do you say that? What happened? What incident are we talking about? I have so many questions. Which I guess is nothing new, but still. Man, the show just keeps doing this on me, doesn't it? No matter how much new information I get, it feels like it's one step forward, one step back in that regard. We actually didn't get much Mario this episode at all. Like Mario was referenced and shown, but I was hoping we'd actually talk a little bit about that character. But no. Future. But why do you say that? Can you please elaborate? I'm gonna really start wondering about that now. But yeah, that was that was the 11th episode of Mawaru Penguindrum, and yeah, the show definitely continues. So what to say about this episode? Well, we did have Kanma go over to to Natsume's house right at the beginning, which was interesting. I mean, we didn't really learn much new stuff, nowhere near as much as I was hoping for. I mean, we got to see just how eccentric this woman is, very much so. Has some very interesting views on love and whatnot, right? And Kanba views her as a stalker, and I think that's probably the most accurate description of her. But she also quite likes her fancy art and stuff like that, and also only has half the diary. That's a pretty big important thing to know, which means someone else has the other half, and we're not quite sure who. So, is there another faction in the show? I don't know. I don't know how you could possibly have a third faction in the show, but I guess it's a thing. Fair enough. I think the best part of that overall, the Natsume home visits, probably just the penguin stuff, because it's great because the penguins obviously can't talk, so and yet they are very much like a comic relief sort of characters. Without question, that's their role in the story. So they're always doing something that's always nonverbal sort of comedy. And in this one, we had the penguin basically trying to defend himself against her penguin, right? Like it shows up with like this full-on Shogun armor, and it almost went over my head. But after I thought about it for a couple seconds, like, oh, that's probably to defend himself because of the one penguin's a bit of a kissing demon, just goes right after him. So he wants to be able to defend against such things, but didn't seem to work at all. She painted him, she kissed him, the armor fell off. It just didn't work at all. Not one bit, but it was funny. I don't know why it's funny, but it is funny. Just, I don't know, just freaking penguins, man. And she even talked about penguins in the scene as well, like emperor penguins and diving in the water, the first penguin to make sure it's safe and all that. Definitely, probably some important symbolism with all that, with that discussion about future events of the anime. But I don't know. She's such an odd, unique individual. But on Ringo's side of things, she's still pursuing Tabuki, right? And she utilizes frog magic, I don't know what you'd call that, to get her way with him. And it seemed to actually work. She fed him some sketchy beverage on the Ferris wheel. We had some very artsy flying around space and various other things before going back to his place to do the deed. But in the end, she actually didn't go through with it. She just walks out, and as he's kind of pounding on the door, Yuri shows up. Probably kind of curious about what exactly is going on, but I don't think she sees Ringo as too much of a threat, despite what she says, because from her perspective, she seems to be in love with Shoma, right? And that does kind of seem to be the case. The fact that she did give up the diary for Shoma, right? That's very telling, no matter how you try to spin it. Like, actions speak louder than words. That's such a cliche statement, but I think it rings very true here, right? She says all this stuff about Tabuki and destiny and all that, but giving up the diary, dropping it, that speaks volumes more than anything anything she says possibly could. But and poor Shoma, like, so much physical abuse from her, despite the fact that he got hit by a car because of her, got kidnapped because of her, sort of. I mean, the blame on that one, I guess, is a little bit debatable, but still. He suffered a lot this episode, is all I'm trying to say. But we did have a survival strategy meeting thingy, where we talked a little bit, and we got some good information here about 16 years ago. Like, that specific number, 16 years, has been thrown around a lot, for sure. And she did clarify a couple things here, like the fact that she was born the same day that her sister died. I can't remember if they said that before or just because I know they talked about the sister before, being around her birthday, and obviously the association with Curry we've talked about before. But I don't remember if they said it was specifically the same day, or if she mentioned the whole reincarnation thing, because that definitely makes a lot more sense for her position, her perspective, because that's obviously pretty coincidental if she was born the same day that Momoka died. You could definitely rationalize that as some kind of reincarnation thingy if you wanted to. And yeah, taking a leap from that to the whole living her life for her sort of thing, it does make a little bit more sense, I guess. It's still pretty not a good thing. It's still flawed logic, but it makes a bit more sense is what I'm trying to say. I did like how we had like the 95 like everywhere. It's obviously meant for 1995, which would be 16 years ago from 2011 when this was made. So that makes sense on that front. But the only thing that doesn't make sense exactly is why Shoma thinks of it as his and his brother's fault that she died. Because he said that they were born on the same day, which is really, that's like definitely stacking up some coincidences there. Or, fate, destiny. I guess you could just call it coincidence, fate, if you wanted to make it sound better. But like, I don't, if you're just like barely born, you can't really affect anything, so I don't know why you would view anything as being your fault, really. Like, what could they possibly have caused, right? That's what I'm really curious about. So hopefully he can clarify that on the next episode. Because I'm actually so curious about that, I almost just want to boot up the next episode right now. But it's already 1:30 in the morning. I can't really do any more recording. I just can't. I don't have it in me. But definitely really want to know a lot about that situation. But at the very least, it definitely implies that there could be some destinies tied together between the two of them if they are connected through Momoko somehow through all of that. One thing that I do want to talk about a little bit is it wasn't really. It was almost barely mentioned, but Natsume did say something about like saving in Mario, right? Which it didn't click in my head at the time, but like the whole like survival strategy thing, that could tie into that. Like maybe, I mean, I don't know, like I guess it's just too much I don't know about the hat, the penguin hat existence, right? But like somehow the diary, fate, Penguindrum, whatever, it's got to tie into like their survival somehow. So maybe the penguin hat person that gets the diary gets to live and nobody else does. I don't know. There's so much I don't know about that whole situation. I don't think I can even really speculate. But but since Sabin was brought up, right? Doesn't he think that there's something going on like that? One thing that actually does kind of come to mind is Kyubey from Madoka Magica, where they go to like a different, less advanced society to get energy from them for their sake or whatever. I don't think I've actually mentioned this before, but that does keep coming to mind as I see the hat and stuff. That whole concept, just I don't know why it just really reminds me of Kyubey for some reason. You show up, you enter someone's life, you promise them magical solutions to help something in exchange for something else, Like, it just, I don't know, it gives me the very similar vibes. I'm probably alone in that, but I figure I should mention it at some point. But yeah, just so much I want to know. So much I need to know. Hopefully we can get some more answers in the next episode, but for now, that's that. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.